Afternoon, everybody. The piece of legislation that was passed by the Arkansas legislature tracked closely with the legislation that was passed by the Indiana legislature last week. The kind of outcry that we saw in response to the Indiana legislation being signed into law by Governor Pence is similar to the outcry that we saw in Arkansas last night after the legislature passed that legislation. We saw pretty strong criticism, including from some pretty prominent business leaders in the state of Arkansas expressing some concern about the impact of that law, and that law could justifiably, or could be used to justify discriminating against individuals because of who they love. And that certainly is not consistent with the values that the vast majority of Americans subscribe to. And I think Governor Hutchinson is obviously responding to that outcry. Which is, I know many of you are closely following in the mind of the president, the thought that we would have state legislatures in the 21st century in the United States of America passing laws that would use religion to try to justify discriminating against people because of who they love is unthinkable. And that's why I think that you've seen an outcry, again, not just from Democrats. This hasn't been a partisan or even a particularly political dispute. It's business interests, it's other Republicans, it's other leaders in the faith community who've stepped forward and said, particularly in the case of Indiana, that this law is a terrible idea. It's not good for our state. It's not consistent with our values. I think that outcry is what has prompted Governor Pence to reevaluate the wisdom of signing this bill into law, something he did just a few days ago. And I think it's also what has made Governor Hutchinson so reluctant to sign this bill and to actually send it back to the legislature so they could do some additional work on it.